So now it's on to our top 5 horror games to check out this Halloween.
Okay, first up, this is a game called Chiller that was originally out in the arcade back in 1986. And as you can see, it's certainly not for the faint-hearted. It is graphically horrific.
Yes, and I think that's why we put it at number 5 in our games to check out, because it is definitely different. I've never seen a game like this before, to be honest. And I've never seen it until you actually showed it to me just now, James.
Well, I didn't actually know about this game till recently. Found it on YouTube, and as you can see, it's graphic as hell. The idea is that you shoot these poor people that are chained to things and tied to chairs, and there's a bloke there with head in a vice. And the idea is you've got to shoot as many of these people and objects as quick as possible before the timer runs out.
And anybody who watches the channel on a regular basis will know our good friend Dave, and he's just popped in, and the look of horror on his face as he sees us playing this game is quite unbelievable. What do you think of this, Dave?
Well, the only thing I can say is it's a bit messed up, but at least the people get to keep their pants on.
Right, let's just try and summarise what exactly is going on here. There's people tied to tables. There's a bloke that leans out of a stairway chucking knives at people. There's a river of blood with random body parts floating past. And all sorts of nasty stuff.
But that said, it's still at number 5 in our games to check out this Halloween.
Okay, next game we're checking out now at number 4 is Nightmare on Elm Street, and this is on the NES, and it's been released by LGN, which some might say is a horror in itself.
Yeah, I always enjoyed the Nightmare on Elm Street films when I was a young lad, and always got them out and watched them at Halloween, and I'm not really sure what's going on in this, James, do you know?
So as I said, this game is released by LJN, but actually created by the great brand Rare. Okay, so the plot of this game is based around some spooky happenings in the night on Elm Street, and the idea is to travel different levels collecting Freddy's bones. Once you've collected all the bones throughout the game, you've got to stay alive and make it to the high school furnace. But it's getting late and you can feel your eyelids getting heavier and heavier. Can you make it to the furnace and destroy Freddy?
So the plot then basically sounds the same as the movie to me, minus the spiders, snakes and the moving platforms.
Okay, up now at number 3 is Splatterhouse. Now Colin, I know you know a bit about this game.
So yes, this is the TurboGrafx version of Splatterhouse. It's a beat-em-up slasher arcade game developed by publisher Namco. Due to its violent nature as well as some of its questionable enemies, the TurboGrafx 16 port of Splatterhouse had a parental advisory warning of sorts printed on the front cover of the box. The warning read, "The horrifying theme of this game may be inappropriate for young children and cowards." In the game, the player controls Rick, a parapsychology student who is trapped inside West Mansion. After his resurrection by the Terror Mask, Rick makes his way through the mansion, fighting off hordes of creatures in a vain attempt to save his girlfriend Jennifer from a grisly fate. Players of the game will also recognise a number of Western horror film influences such as Friday the 13th and The Evil Dead 2.
That's another game that's worth checking out this Halloween. And at number 2, who are you going to call? Yes, it's the Ghostbusters.
Yes, I'm so excited this is at number 2 because this is for me is a pure retro classic. So this is the Commodore 64 version, which was designed and created by David Crane. And the amazing thing I always found about this game is the primary aim isn't just to rid the city of all the ghosts and ghouls, but is actually to try and make some profit for your business.
You can't just live on ectoplasm, Ghostbusters have got to eat too.
And just listening to that Sid Chip bellow out that Ghostbusters anthem just puts chills down my spine. So at number 1 it's Resident Evil, and it could really be any of the Resident Evil games. We enjoy them all, but we've gone for Resident Evil 2.
And if the zombies don't scare you, the camera angle certainly will.
I don't know, it's kind of cool because you can't really see into every single corner, so you don't quite know what's there. You could be walking into a giant spider, zombie, or you might make it around the next bend.
Yes, Dave, that is a valid point, and that sometimes the camera angles do make the game slightly better in a weird sort of way.
Now, one thing that made this slightly harder over the other games is that the ammunition and weapons were certainly more scarce than the other titles, but it made you think more and less trigger happy.
And I think the good thing about the second one is the voice acting isn't quite as wooden as the first. And another good thing is that you know the background story. You've already been introduced to the Umbrella Corporation and the virus, and you're just thrown straight in at the deep end.
Stay back! Don't come any closer! Stay back!
Well, this wraps up our countdown of 5 games to play for Halloween, and if you've only got time to play one, it has to be Resident Evil 2.